Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the one, the only Daytona International Speedway. Got the OSS series coming at you live tonight. This ARCA series going to be great fun to watch. I want you to sit back, grab a drink, grab some popcorn as these drivers are already rolling under caution. About to start the race. Adam Gardner, familiar name. That 56 going to lead us to the green flag. Matthew Byers. P2, Vincent Cortez. P3, Max Service. P4, Devin Smith. P5, Doug Solms. P6, Andrew. P7, Joshua Reese. P8, Josh Fox. P9, Aiden G. P10, and here we go already. Green flag is out and away these ARCA cars go. Not to be mistaken with the Gen 4 body, just the ARCA series. A little bit less power, but these nose is just like a shovel. You could very easily shovel your opponent out of the lane that they're running. But very, very clean start already. Love this from this OSS ARCA series here early on. Take a look at some aerial coverage early. Adam Gardner still out front. Looks like Max Service was able to get to his rear bumper, and that 81 Hellman's really, really nice paint scheme. Very familiar paint scheme too if you are a avid fan of NASCAR. See Matthew Byers trying to make that top lane work with Vincent Cortez right there behind him. Two yellow Chevy Impalas running side by side here at Daytona. Coming into turn 3 now. These X-pipes underneath these bodies present super really fun sounding cars. Just listen to that as they go by. It almost sounds like V10 race cars. Check out the 95 Devin Smith Jr. Back a spot from where he started, but just trying to fit into this bottom lane. Riding on board with Devin now. Oh, there's going to be an incident out here at the front of the pack. Big one early on, only a lap 3. Not sure if these drivers already have a faster pair available to them or not. Doug Solms involved early. Matthew Byers. Very, very unfortunate as, man, the 80, that Cobalt scheme was up there early. I believe that's Matthew Byers. Yeah, the 94. No nose left on the front of his Chevy, as we are going to take a replay brought to you by Stam Studio Network. See if we can dissect what happens. A little late on it there is never good to wreck in the front of the pack. 67 gets turned. Not too much damage for him. I think the 94 got most damage out of everybody here. See if we can back this up just a little bit more. That's still a little late. At this point, just going to have to rewind it. Stick with us. So you see there, it doesn't look like the 94 comes down. Maybe the 56 gets into the 94's left rear bumper. Then that's going to send everybody around. Looks like the 67 gets caught checking up by the one McDonald's machine of Joshua Reese. The 21, nice job, evasive action. Aiden down there missing the whole incident. Josh Fox taking it up high. Ooh, 94 almost clips him, but Josh making it through it as well. So we will have our answer in just a second regarding fast repairs or not. Looks like Matthew Byers still heavy damage to the front of his Chevy. All these other drivers are in the pits now, either fixing what damage they did have or just topping up on fuel. Let's see with Matthew Byers if he's able to take a fast repair or... Ooh! Never want to hear that, and that is the loudest sound in the iRacing universe. You can hear that from halfway across the map as he's going to roll into his pit box. There it is. Let's see if he is able to get a fast repair. Nah, it would have popped out by now, so very unfortunate incident for lots of these up front and running drivers. Now that's going to leave Vincent Cortez and Max Service up here in P1, P2. No bus stop this time around, but Roar Before the 24 this weekend, as well as Daytona 24 hours coming up. Hopefully everybody's been putting in the practice with their teams, the cars that they're running. If you're looking at running some new cars, man, check this out. Porsche Cup versus NASCAR league that I have started. We are now Watkins Glen, just the Cup layout this weekend. Come put your driving talents on display. 0 TC or ABS between the two series. Do you opt for the high downforce in that Porsche Cup car, or the high horsepower of that Gen 7 NASCAR Cup car? Joshua Reese still in the pits. Doesn't really look like too much damage to his one, but he was involved in that wreck just a little bit. I'm most curious to see Matthew Byers. Oof. Well, it's never good when you click on a name and it cuts to the aerial coverage, as that means they are out of the race, taking it to the garage. Doesn't look like Matthew will be back in this race tonight. Unfortunate run for him. Looks like Josh Reese is going to catch up to the pack. I mean, at this point, just treat it like even an open race, not having that fast repair. Why not just hang out in the back of the pack for a little bit, not get any damage, and be able to woe yourself down if that next big one does present itself. But only 11 drivers left up in this field, so maybe a medium one, not big one. Adam Gardner riding on board with him now, looking at the back of Kevin Lingerfelt's car. 65 right in front of him, and then Josh Fox in that Reese's 22. Those of you watching at home, I'd like to invite you in on, I guess, the broadcast. Little early for maybe a race pick, but give me maybe one to watch. I know it's like throwing darts at a dartboard here at a super speedway, but Vincent Cortez is still up here even after that incident. Just gonna have to manage the damage from this point on. Pace car, come on into safety. As these drivers enter the Geico restart zone, Vincent Cortez gonna grab second gear now. Rip up through third. Not hit fourth until about the entry into turns 1 and 2 here. Look at the 95 of Devin Smith giving a really nice push to Vincent Cortez into the turn. I mentioned it earlier, these ARCA cars, noses like shovels. You cannot really push like you would, say, other generations of NASCAR, but and this is looking back at Aiden now, as well as Kevin. Looks like they've actually backed themselves up quite a bit now, not trying to push the issue too much. But right as I say that, looks like the 96, Matt Rogers, getting right on the back bumper of Andrew. Excuse me, that's Devin Smith in that 95 blue and black paint scheme. First time with OSS Racing. He's going to continue to learn you guys' names and paint schemes. Look at Aiden up here in this Outback Steakhouse. If he wins, free dinner for everybody tonight. Josh Fox giving him a nice run down the back stretch. But man, I like what Adam's doing back here, man. Just take your time. Not even 10 laps into this 80-lap race. No fast repairs either from what I've seen, so why not just kind of wait? I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive with racing, but come on now. Way cleaner start this time by, though, is Vincent and Max still out here at the pack. If you're Max Rogers, you're trying to get a run forming down here in this bottom lane. It's the safest spot to be if you want to be up in this, because you have that out to your left. Huge checkup as now Devin Smith is going to grab the front. Looking at the nose of Devin Smith, now at the back, looking at the nose of Max Service. Huge, huge run coming back towards the start-finish line. Andrew Corr, that 12 car running third in the pack, top of your screen. His car a little loose out of the exit of turns 3 and 4 last time. Is still loose out of turns 2. Didn't think the intensity would be this ramped up already. Only 10 laps in this 80-lap race. Love when this happens, as it makes me look really, really nice. Like I know what I'm talking about, as nobody is going to just hang out in the back. Sure, you got Doug Solms and then Josh Reese here, but they're 1-2 car lengths away. If a wreck happens right in front of them, quite frankly, nowhere to go. Appreciate Chris Mayo for having me on board tonight. If you are watching on the OSS YouTube channel, appreciate that. I am also streaming over on my YouTube channel, Stam Studio Network. A little double stream action for you. As I'm going to treat you viewers tuning in tonight, let's already get a little crank it up action here from Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back. Crank it back down. Sean up back here in the booth. But Matt Rogers, Devin Smith, Vincent Cortez going to take it 3 wide for the lead. Perfect time to come back down in volume. But Devin Smith gets a nice run, and the 12 going to scrape the wall. Oh, the 21, excuse me. Now that's Aiden G. Aiden Gordiano. Falling back to a safer spot is now the 3 wide. Tones down just a little bit, but the run's still trying to be formed up this top line. Got the 81 Max Service. He's falling back here now to P7. Ooh, and then looks like the 22. No, that's Andrew, the 12. Maybe that was the 12 that scraped the wall earlier. It looks like losing the draft, unfortunately. Might just be the safest spot to be, though, as 96, Matt Rogers, Rockstar. What a name, gonna take the lead this lap. Coming now to lap 17 out of 80. Not sure if these drivers have fuel restrictions tonight. Maybe one of you fans from OSS can let me know in the YouTube chat. And also, again, let me know your race picks or possibly one to watch. I know it's still kind of early, but we're creeping towards lap 20. Fourth of the way almost into the race. Just love the sounds of these cars as they go by. It looks like riding on board with Doug Solms at the moment. Just trying to run that bottom line. See Josh Fox up there in the top. Very clean racing going on throughout this pack so far. Don't really get that in the fixed series here in iRacing. Maybe in the mornings, but man, not the nighttime. I'm not sure if that's just ego, if that's maybe drinking going on, but hey, let me know in the chat below if you guys kind of tend to see that trend as well. It's now Vincent Cortez back out front, going to retain the lead. Devin Smith running P2. Matt Rogers falling back to P3 now. Two by two. Aiden Gordiano, Kyle Lingerfelt, Josh Fox battling for 5th through 7th. We haven't really seen too much of an intense side draft from quite any of these drivers put on any of each other yet, but I'm willing to bet that's going to change as we tick down to almost a 4th way into the race. I'd imagine that happens maybe 3/4 way into the race. See if we get a look at what line has a little bit more momentum going. Right now looks like it's the top with 95, Devin leading it, but that shorter way around the track, the 21, followed by, looks like the 96 there. Getting a great push down the backstretch, but now more cars in that top line. Unable to get to run down the back though, as that bottom lane still shorter way around the track. Vincent Cortez back out front. Hold up, hold up. We're looking at a Volkswagen Jetta? Is that the one of Joshua Reese made his way back up to the front of the pack after starting the restart last place? Going to slide into that bottom lane, take the lead here at Daytona. Run starting to form just a bit more now as cars start to get just a bit more aggressive. Maybe run a bit warmer than they're supposed to, running right behind that car behind you as you get no fresh air into the inlet of that radiator and the nose of these ARCA cars. Andrew found a drafting buddy. Looks like Max Service. They are unfortunately 10 seconds behind the pack, but not out of the race at all. Matthew Byers still in the garage trying to fix up his car. ARCA Impala. Forget all these cars are the exact same manufacturer, so that makes it easier on me. But no, not Joshua Reese's. Speaking of Reese's, Josh Fox still having a great run. He likes that outside, and what I'm now seeing from Josh Fox, that's also a Volkswagen Jetta with look like some Dodge headlights, but I'll take their word for it. The rest of the pack looks like just those Chevy Impalas, but 2x2 again, coming to lap 24. Only one caution flag. That was on lap 3 or 4 of the race, as Vincent's going to dive down to the bottom block. This run of momentum coming from the 1 and the 96. Also the 65 of Kyle kind of contributing to that run as well. There's another great run to see how this momentum works down the backstretch between that bottom and the top line. That bottom, obviously, shorter way around the track, but if you're able to get just more cars up in the top lane, that can be the lane that prevails, especially coming to, say, a green-white checkered finish. Doug Solms still just hanging out here, the last car in the pack. Honestly, that's where I would want to be. And running the bottom lane, I mentioned it earlier, you have that runoff to your left all the way around the track, even if it's in the turns. You gotta slam the car down onto the apron. As most time, the wrecks tend to go high here, take the high banks of Daytona. So that's just the way the physics and momentum works as a big one starts. Speaking of big one, gonna get another look at our big wreck earlier, the start of the race. That was when we had a couple drivers involved of Doug Solms, Matthew Byers, unfortunately ending Matthew Byers' race. We take a look at the replay now. Gonna have to back it up just a tiny bit, but here we go. Get started up there, the front of the pack there at the bottom of your screen. The 23 already into the wall of Vincent Cortez. He's gonna get through it clean, but yeah, you see the 97 get tagged by the 1. You're surprised to see Joshua Reese up here in P2 at the moment. And the 67 goes around. 94, there's that heavy detrimental damage. Kyle Lingenfeldt here taking very, very nice evasive action, going slow on the apron, gets the car almost completely stopped. That's what I just mentioned, man. Able to run that bottom, use the apron to help yourself avoid the wrecks. Just saw him involved in the wreck, though. Joshua Reese getting a huge, huge shot. Devin Smith Got to be careful with these cone noses in the ARCA cars. Vincent Cortez going to try to block that outside lane. Going to come back down in front of the nose of the 96. All clear, all clear. Joshua Reese. I'm so amazed this car is still able to run up here at the front of the pack. Got all of his maybe 20, 25 seconds of damage repaired. Then look at the 21 of Aiden G. Back out here in the front of the outside lane. And then Josh Fox hasn't left the outside lane this whole night, it seems. Lap 29 out of 80. This is nobody's race to call yet, as we've seen Vincent. Sure, he's been out here up front almost the whole race, getting great pushes by Matt Rogers, Rockstar. But I'm still keeping my eye on Doug Solms. He knows how to race these ARCA Super Speedway races. He's been here, done that. All these racers have, but different strategies going around the track. Just like you'd see in road racing, it's a little bit different this time by, though, is just on survival. As now Josh Fox, first time this race, gonna dip down, try this inside line, maybe see what he's got, see if he can push this 96 and the 23 back out front. Ooh, the 95 had to make a huge checkup for Josh in front of him. There goes, excuse me, I meant Joshua Reese, and then Josh Fox going to jump in front of Joshua Reese. Here comes the top line. This bottom is fizzled out. I wouldn't doubt if we're going to see Vincent and Matt Rogers fall like a rock here, but Vincent going to try to throw a block, makes it work. Matt Rogers, after being such a helpful teammate to Vincent, going to get the worst of that. Going to drop back down to P4 and 5 now. This is just like you would see if you're driving the highway at the interstate in your state or Providence. So you got a bunch of Canadian drivers here with us tonight. As it just is even flows, but Josh Fox taking full advantage of it. Gets himself out front. The one time he jumped in that bottom lane, able to work his way around the traffic, able to cut it up. Gets his Volkswagen Jetta Bass Pro 22 out front, but not for long. Here comes Josh Reese. Vincent Cortez 3 wide. Going into turn 1 here, Daytona. Matt Rogers not giving up on this bottom at all. Coming back to help out Josh Fox. What a helmet. Big ol' eyes looking at you down the back stretch. All momentum based. Hold it steady though. Vincent is there. What I ratings are we tonight? This is tremendous racing. I thought we were going to see a wreck 2 or 3 times. You're going to look 3 wide again down the start finish stripe. Answer our I rating questions. Very high I rating field. Vincent Cortez, 4,500. Andrew, not in the lead pack at the moment, but running with Adam Gardner. Andrew with 5,400 I rating. Josh Fox, our leader, 2,300. These drivers know what they're doing. Been here, done this plenty of times before, whether fixed series or league racing. As it looks like the caution has come out. No wrecks up here in the front of the pack. Let's see if it's our second pack that we had forming between Adam Gardner and Andrew St. Courier. Neither of those drivers as well. Max Service still running. If you tuned in with us last night, we had Chris Mayo's BMRL series they actually ran stages, and this is about when we would see a stage uh, a stage caution come out, possibly stage 1. But I got called in very late to this gig. Not a lot of information that I was able to get from league owners of this OSS racing. But see everybody checking up now down the back stretch. Looks like Vincent Cortez, he did retain the lead as that caution flag came out. Josh Fox going to be P3. Doug Solms going to retain P4. Amazing camera work by our iRacing camera crew. If you've been to Daytona International Speedway before, this looks just like about what you'd see from the stands, sitting up here a little bit further towards turn 1, but coming at us now, only still 11 drivers out here on this lead lap. Again, very, very impressive clean racing from all of these drivers so far. As if you're sitting in the stands with our cardboard cutouts, looks like you've just put on the binoculars, getting a bit better look. Looks like left sides and right sides going on everybody's ARCA Chevy Impala. Vincent Cortez going to retain the lead. Matt Rogers going to retain P2. Kyle Lingerfelt 21. Aiden retain P4. Devin Smith P5. Adam Gardner P6. A little bit longer stop. Some of these drivers a little bit further in the back of the pack, but maybe just fixing up some damage. We know the one had some damage. 67 of Doug. He just likes to be back there this early in the race. I know I would. Josh Fox exiting the pits there, and then looks like that's got to be some repair work being done on Max Service and Andrew St. Courier. Going to take a quick break. Join you right back as the cars get single file. Vincent Cortez, Matt Rogers going to be out front for our restart. All right, welcome back to Inside the Track, sitting right on the apex of turns 1 and 2. 2 by 2, Vincent Cortez, Matt Rogers, Kyle Lingerfelt, Aiden Gordiano, P4. Almost to halfway. If that was indeed a stage yellow, points have been awarded. Vincent Cortez max points there, and then retains the lead again off the start. But again, if you're just now joining us, Vincent Cortez has been up in the lead for just about all the race, or at least top 3. But I'm not counting out anybody. It's too early. Wrecks can happen. No fast repairs that we've been able to see for these drivers so far, which I do respect. Good job, OSS Racing, putting it all on the line here at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Again, throw your pick out in the YouTube chat, and I'll shout you out. Got Devin Smith, been able to supply some really nice pushes, and then cannot Joshua Reese. He's been from the back to the front, to the back to the front. One more time, back to the front again. Cannot count him out. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Vincent Cortez, field is in your hands. Green flag is out as these drivers approach the Geico restart zone. Is Vincent going to slide up or try and retain this bottom line? Looks like he's going to stick down there as Matt Rogerson's now to his outside. Look at how many cars are on this bottom line. If you're up top, you're going to want to get down now. Come on, I know the live stream's delayed, but come on, Aiden. These drivers that are in the top line, they had a little bit of a gap to get down, but not anymore. But whoa, look at the 21. He was clear from Vincent. Again, these drivers making the broadcast booth look real smart. But Vincent able to rake the draft work. Get right to the back bumper of Aiden as he gets a push of Kyle from behind. Huge shot going into turn one. That's pretty risky. That's a Nissan GTR. Very cool paint scheme. Matter of fact, I'll just call it Nissan GTR whole body. Give it Nissan GTR twin turboed engine. And is that Kyle? It is Kyle Lingerfelt's 65. McDonald's machine, Joshua Reese making this bottom line work. Still only 3 cars running in this top lane. Every single driver except for Matthew Byers up in the lead pack. You can't win just solo here, folks. You're going to need a push from the back. Maybe this is when you're trying to look for somebody, maybe some of your teammates, somebody that you've raced with prior that you know that you can trust. Halfway into this race, maybe start finding each other. If we do continue to go green, though, going to need 1 fuel stop. So that's something to keep in mind as we do see the 21 out here up front burning more fuel than, say, you are the 65 or even the 22 of Josh Fox. Running about half throttle compared to even Matt Rogers' Rockstar. 96 leading the outside lane, burning way more fuel than even the 56, the 95. Keep this in mind as this fuel continues to trickle down, and if no yellow, these cycles start to open. It's going to be something to watch. Riding on board with Josh Reese now. Mentioned earlier, it's just like you're driving on the interstate. Those slow pokes in the left lane, man, nowhere to go. You hear Josh really modulating the throttle as we sat on that outdoor GoPro cam looking at the right rear suspension and back. Max Service and his Hellman's really bright yellow and white and blue 81 Arca Chevy Impala. Outlaw Sim Series really putting on a show and run for the money. These drivers, I'm going to need to friend every single one of them within iRacing, if we ever get in the same super speedway race and work with every single one of you, you guys know how to push, as that really takes some skill to do in these ARCA cars. I'm going to mention it again. Noses like an ice cream cone. You get too close to the guy in front of you, it will turn their butt around. Vincent Cortez now 3 cars back in this bottom lane. That's not really where he's been familiar with running tonight, but he's able to kind of retain the track position. Wouldn't doubt if he's able to work his way back up to the lead of the pack. But now Matt Rogers leading the bottom lane. This top lane is still able to hold these guys off with only 3 cars in it. Maybe if you're Josh Fox right now, that's something that you're kind of putting in the back of your mind as we continue to inch closer towards the end of this race, coming to lap 45 now. ARCA cars hitting upwards of 190 miles per hour into turns 1. Getting a little bit faster than the backstretch as well if you're able to work with this bottom lane. But then Josh Fox able to use the slipstream, kind of work himself back up into that top lane, but you're clear at the bottom. Man, take it. Thinks better of it, man. Josh has only moved off of the top side once this race, and the only time he did move to the bottom, cut up through traffic, worked his way out to the lead. We might look 3 wide for the lead right now. Vincent Cortez, who else? Got all the room to do it here. Could even look 4 wide if the 56 is able to get a good run from the 95. But no, sir, says Matt, as he's going to retain the lead. Maybe play a little bit of Ricky Stenhouse down the back stretch. Ooh, here comes Kyle and the Nissan GTR. More momentum on this top side now, as it just happens that quickly. Is Kyle going to lead this time by the Nissan Skyline GTR? Going to come down to the start-finish stripe. Looks like he barely led the lap. Hopping on board with Kyle now, looking back at the Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Josh Reese, he has been everywhere tonight, from the back to the front again. There's the 95 of Devin Smith making that bottom work again in a Volkswagen Jetta. There's Max Service, the 81 Hellman Chevy Impala, up here making P5 work. Very, very nice run. Matt Rogers continuing to lead laps here at Daytona International Speedway here in Florida. Fairly cold night tonight. Track temperature continuing to drop. These drivers not too affected by it though, as we've only seen maybe 1 or 2 cars get kind of loose on exit, get a little bit squirrely, but 65 giving a shot to Vincent Cortez. Vincent, about the only time we've seen him up in this top lane. Gonna make a little bit of side draft, then get away from him. See if his momentum propels him to the lead. Not gonna make it work. Matt Rogers gonna lead another lap in Florida. I'm so impressed by the way that these drivers continue to not even lock bumpers. It's almost like, oh, well, there's a little bit of a shot, but not a lock of a bumper. It's almost like they have a race control out here. Outlaw Sim Series. Get with them, as this has been really, really clean racing. Continues as we are about to round lap 50. You see that Aiden cut to the bottom there, right in front of Doug Solms. Doug Solms continuing to have a safe run, running in P10. It's still not time to go. Still another fuel stop if we continue to run green. So stick with us, grab your drinks, refill your popcorn bucket. Matt Rogers still up front. Vincent Cortez, he says, nah, man, I'm going to come take that back. I have been leading the most laps tonight. This is my race. I want the safest spot in the track. Riding on board with Vincent now, looking out of his rear bumper. Oh, this is going to get... Very, very safe run from Kyle not to look 3 wide down as we get to the start-finish line back there. As going through the tri-oval, weight kind of shifts on these cars where these drivers don't maybe expect it to, and if you getting just the slightest run out of the back behind you, that can just lift the rear wheels, sends your ass around through that tri-oval grass. But Vincent Cortez looks like going to try to get the lead again, continue to kick some ass. Super, excuse me, hard pushing down as we get out of turn 4 now. Max Service back up to P4, getting nice run from Devin again on the bottom of the track. I don't think we've seen Devin leave the bottom just like we've seen Josh Fox only once, maybe twice leave the top. Wow, momentum kind of even that time by down the back stretch as we see, there goes Josh Fox, going to look down the bottom of the track. Wonder if we can pull up our pit strategy graphic for you guys, just see when these guys last pit. Again, I wasn't made aware of fuel restrictions for these guys, but you see only lap 34 as we're going to round lap 52 now. These drivers have to be thinking of fuel coming down to the last bit of this race. If you're Matt Rogers or Vincent Cortez, that's also in the back of your mind is, again, you're burning more fuel than, say, these drivers that are riding in the draft behind you. If you're new with iRacing simulates just about everything you can imagine. We're talking airflow as well. Excuse me. Affecting that fuel burn if you're one of these guys running behind these leaders, or 4 or 5 car lengths back, you're more out of the throttle, getting more tow from these drivers in front of you. These cars looking just a little bit more weightless out of the exit and the turn. Wonder if their fuel tanks are starting to run just a little bit dry. That'll shave quite a ton of weight out of these ARCA Menards race cars as well. I'll take you through the field now, brought to you by Stam Studio Network. See Matt Rogers continuing to lead on the bottom as well. Quite fairly a really safe spot to be, unless you are Doug Solms back there, and another safe spot, but we'll get to that in a second. Max Service running P2. Vincent Cortez still up here, P3, up here in the top 3 for the whole night. Kyle Lingerfeld, see him in that Nissan Skyline GTR running P4. Devin Smith, P5, Joshua Reese, P6, Adam Gardner, P7, Aiden G, P8, Josh Fox, back running the bottom line, P9, Doug Solms, who I mentioned earlier, just running safely back here, gonna wait for this wreck to happen that he knows is going to happen. No fast repairs for these OSS racing guys tonight than Andrew St. Cordier running P11. Gonna treat our viewers to one more crank it up before We crank it up in the broadcast booth as we get closer towards the end of the race, but go ahead, crank it up, enjoy this last couple of laps before things get way too intense. Maybe grab some more popcorn and refill your drinks. See our pit cycle starting here when we were in Crank It Up. Looks like Adam Gardner, that's going to be a black flag. Andrew St. Courier, did he get his car woed down? And then Doug Solms going to add to the cars coming down the pits. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that... Ooh, Adam looks like he missed the... We're going to have to take a replay of how all this shook out. So here's Doug Solms, the 12 running up top in front of him, and then let's see if there's any lockups indicating maybe speeding. The 67 possibly got his car woed down, and then, yeah, Adam Gardner, there's no way. Oh, the 96 who was leading the race. Oh, huge implications there. So we're going to have to back this up just a little bit, but this is going to be coming into the pits. I mentioned that fuel stop that we're going to have to see. And then Matt coming off of the lead, nothing to really judge your speed or reaction time off of as he cuts across the logo. Groundskeeper's going to love that. Appreciate that, Matt. Just kidding, all jokes aside. Unfortunate that that's how his race is going to end, as now Vincent Cortez going to retain the lead. This pack has not been down the pits just yet. Andrew St. Courier as well as Doug Solms. They're just in a pack of their own at this point. Unfortunate mistakes going to lead to them getting laps now, it looks like, as here comes Vincent Cortez and the rest of the pack. It's almost a broadcaster's curse. Whoa! Hang on now there, Max. Looks like almost made contact with the back of Vincent, but that was right when we were cutting away to that Crank It Up. Saw there in the very rear of the shot 3 or 4 drivers coming down pit road, and then, yeah, our leader of the race, Matt Rogers, now going to go down a lap. Hate to see that with as much pace as he had, as well as controlling the pack. Very clean driving from him. And we're not going to mention clean driving without mentioning Vincent Cortez. He's been up at the lead of the race or the top 3 the whole night. He's not forced anybody out of the way. He's not even made any aggressive side drafts doing so either. Super impressive run by him in the 23 group. Now getting a massive run with a great push out of the 81 out of Max Service. One of our 3 Canadian buddies driving with us tonight. Appreciate you making it out tonight for us. And Kyle Lingerfelt, Nissan GTR Skyline, trying to make that high line work. Now going to cut down to the bottom of the track with Joshua Reese falling in line right behind him. Lap counter down. Now just a 20 to go. Going to tick down to 19 next time by. No way that these guys have made a fuel stop. We're going to double check that. Yeah, okay. So I'm talking like, sure, it's Vincent Cortez, Joshua Reese's race to win. It's however not the case, as these drivers still have to come down for a pit. They are gambling that this race is going to continue, or they're going to actually gamble on a caution coming out, or just keep running their fuel tanks to the very last drop. As now Vincent Cortez falling back to that third spot, that bottom lane. Was kind of reminiscent of drivers coming down to pit road, as you will see them get on that bottom lane before turns, well, before the entry into turn 3, kind of signify, maybe even in the voice chat or even text chat in iRacing, kind of signify that, hey, you are coming down this time by. 18 coming to 17 to go. I'm very surprised we haven't seen these drivers that last pit on lap 34 come down the pits yet. But Kyle Lingerfeldt up in the lead. Doug Solms actually leading this bottom lane, trying to retain his spot on the lead lap, as he is one of our drivers that did pit that last time, if you remember. If you're watching and able to chat in the YouTube chat, Eric Anderson, appreciate you and the YouTube chat. Definitely so. I agree with you. You're still watching. Joshua Reese. That's gonna throw me off if things get a little too exciting. Don't be surprised if I call Joshua Reese Josh Fox. Get them two confused. As Josh Fox is running Eric Anderson's favorite paint. I thought that was Reese's early. What? Okay, well, that's now Cabela's. Eric Anderson, still a huge fan of Cabela's, as well as Bass Pro Shops. Big fisherman of himself, as we see him in the YouTube chat. But things are going to start ticking down to the nitty-gritty now, guys. It's at the point you're going to need to lock in these race picks. Please let me know in the YouTube chat. Got to keep in mind the 67, who's been trying to keep it clean this whole race. He's made his pit stop, and he's going to retain the spot out of this bottom lane. That's going to retain his spot on the lead lap, not even going down a lap, because our leader at the moment is Vincent Cortez, running behind him and the 12. Andrew giving him some help. These two have been teammates this whole race, now able to make it work. Coming to 15 laps to go. Okay, here's a little bit of single file now. Are these drivers now finally starting to think about pitting? 23, 81, 22, 21. It's all got to happen. Looking back from Andrew's back bumper at our leader of the race. I know that sounds a little weird, but we got Vincent Cortez, then Max Service running still P2. Our highest running Canadian driver at the moment. As things get single file, these drivers are going to start testing the runs that they're able to get down the front and back stretch here at Daytona. If you're Vincent Cortez, you have to keep an eye on that rear bumper looking back at the 81 of Max Service. Also keeping in mind that the two cars in front of you aren't for position. That's no fault of Doug or Andrews of their own, as they're just retaining their spot on this lead lap. If that 23 yellow and orange car gets by them, they will go a lap down and then be battling but amongst themselves for that lucky dog position. But as we crest, only 13 laps to go here, still have not seen Vincent Cortez, Max Service, Josh Fox, and the rest of this front-running pack pit. Let's ride on board, maybe see if he's lifting a little bit more than our leader. You heard a pretty good lift there going into the entry of turn 1 and turn 3. At this point, just saving fuel to shorten up that fuel stop, make it just a splash compared to maybe taking 2 or 3 gallons, which in turn results into 3, even 4 seconds at the pits. Single file now as these cars beat cameraman that time by. What? ARCA cars beating our iRacing camera crew. Here we go. This is going to cycle things out. Vincent Cortez and only Max Service coming to the pits. Vincent Cortez, huge. That's going to be close to speeding. We're going to keep an eye on that, see if he has a penalty. But that's not good for them either, as only 2 cars. You're really not going to have a good shot at retaining your spot in the pack. Obviously, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars way faster in a pack than just 2. Now our eyes shift to Josh Fox, Aiden Goridano, and then Kyle Lingerfelt running top 3. But also Doug Solms and Andrew St. Courier. But here comes the pack. This is where you would want to have pit with. Make sure you get these cars all slowed down. No, that's going to be an incident between the 65, the 21. 21 possibly going to get a unsafe pit entry, as well as the 65 knocking down that cone. You see a good look at it here, brought to you by Stam Studio Network. Ooh, I don't think that's dirty at all by the 65. I don't think he's meaning to do that, but the 21 just nowhere else to go as the grass approaches there on pit entry. This is going to be interesting, as now lap only 10 to go. Now Josh Fox was the first out of the pits. Devin Smith P2, Joshua Reese P3. These guys will all get slung back together as they catch each other's draft. But here comes the 81 and the 23. They had a super clean pit stop, as they are already up to speed coming back down the backstretch, as we just saw the one of Joshua Reese going to get passed by these 2. This is going to ultimately become the battle of the race lead. These cars still flying by. Looks like the 95 now of Devin Smith. They're going to work on the 22. That's going to be Josh Fox for P3 now. Vincent Cortez, Josh Fox, not able to retain the spot. Now Max Service and Vincent Cortez, their stops just a little bit cleaner, able to get on and off pit road. I didn't think it would be doable with just this pack of 2, but now we have to take a look at this pack of 3 right behind them. Will these 3 get single file early enough? Looks like they're already single file. Got to start pushing each other. 95 doing a really good job at that. Got to get back at the bottom of the apron if these guys want to have a chance at catching the 81 and the 23. We're going to keep an eye on any penalties that start to present themselves now, as we definitely saw some speeding as well as some unsafe pit entry, pit exits. Just like I mentioned earlier, we do have that race control, and maybe just saw that wasn't the fault of Devins on his own. Quite possibly cleared his penalty, but hate to see this for Matt Rogers. Back here P8 after leading so much of the race here tonight. Max Service, Vincent Cortez. Turning qualifying laps. If it was open, whoa, you got Vincent Cortez getting extremely close to the back bumper of Max Service. But I mentioned the 96 of Matt Rogers leading lots of the race earlier. Vincent Cortez leading just as many laps, if not more than, and been in the top 3 for way more than he has. But now this train of 4 cars starting to reel in this gap. Take a look at the time delta now. As Vincent Cortez, compared to Josh Fox, extremely quick, reeling him in lap by lap. You can see, matter of fact, it's visual. They're about to pass him with the run that they have. Josh Fox getting a massive run from Devin Smith. Here they go to the outside. This is going to slow them down a little bit now. We have to take a look at the next car behind. That's Josh Reese. And 2 other cars, Doug Solms and Andrew St. Courier. They are not out of this race at all with the massive draft that this car is going to poke down the front and back straightaway. Two by two, 2 back, coming to 5 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway. Josh Fox, max service. Who is it going to be? Don't take your eyes out of this backpack running at the top line. Led by Josh Reese and then Doug Solms. Followed by that 50, not the 56. 56 is still running with the 96. Matt Rodgers trying not to go a lap down. But things continuing to ramp up here. Getting side by side again. Getting through turn 3. This is going to be coming through turn 4. Only seen 3 wide maybe 2 or 3 times tonight. Are we going to see 3 wide finally present itself? Josh Fox back to the lead of the track. Lead of the race, excuse me, on that bottom line. That's exactly where he made it work earlier tonight. 4 laps to go here in Daytona. Looking back at Devin Smith, max service now. This 81 Hellman's giving him a huge shot down the back straightaway. As we approach 3 laps, even 2 laps to go, viewers at home, start taking notes of what momentum is working where. Is this top lane going to prevail with a little bit, with 1 more car in it, or is the shorter way around the track going to prevail? Cardboard cutouts on their feet here in the stands of Daytona. Josh Fox still up out in the lead. Got now Devin Smith up in the lead of the top lane. Joshua Reese going to be right there on exit. However, this bottom lane very, very well organized, running 1-2 at the moment. But Devin Smith, Devin Smith getting pushed by Joshua Reese. And that 21, there's going to be gaps continuing to shrink between these front and rear bumpers. Do not forget, the noses of these cars are shovels. Just the tiniest bit of contact can send you or your teammate around. Josh Fox, Devin Smith, 1-2, leading at Daytona, 2 laps to go. OSS Racing putting on a show for us tonight. We head down the backstretch one final time. If these drivers are able to keep it clean, wouldn't expect anything else, as they've kept it clean this whole race. Only seen 1 caution flag for incident, as we are going to approach, coming to the white flag. Surprised, seen no 3 wide yet. Drivers just trying to size each other up, see what runs work best where. Devin Smith out in the lead. White flag is out. Anything's going to go here in Daytona. Devin Smith got Joshua Reese. He's found his way to the front of the pack in this outside line. Look at Vincent Cortez trying to block the 67 of Doug Solms. However, Josh Reese barely up out front in the front of the 95. Josh Fox going to continue giving shots like he's been doing all race. Got the 21 up there at the top line. Matter of fact, not even on the lead lap, is now we get the 3 wide, but the 95 is going to get turned by Josh. Huge incident. Who's going to win? It's going to be Josh Fox. after hanging out, after making the top line work, only switching to the bottom when he needed to. Josh Fox, congratulations, you have won Daytona International Speedway. Vincent Cortez somehow coming home with P2. Max Service. Oh, Max Service across the line, P3. Joshua Reese. Man, I was waiting for it. The big one finally happened. Joshua Reese going to come home, P4. Andrew St. Croix, P5. Doug Solms, P6. Devin Smith, damn, coming to the whites, had a really good run coming, P7. Adam Gardner, gonna finish the race right there with Matt Rogers, P8 and 9. This replay is going to be one to look at for quite a while. Okay, this is coming to the white flag. This is when the pushes are going to get very, very wild coming down this back stretch, as these drivers know it is their last chance to make any move work. See Josh get right on the back bumper of the 95. Gonna have to cut to an aerial cam. Josh not really getting a shot from anywhere down the back straight away from behind him, and then looks like maybe just a bit too much throttle, or just gets right underneath that 95. Oh, huge incident here coming out of turn 4 Daytona, but what driver control to be able to hang on to that car for Josh Fox. We'll take another look. This is coming to the white flag. Got Aiden up there, again, not on the lead lap right now, but up there running P2 on that high side. Here comes 65, shot out of a cannon. Here we go, back down the back stretch. And this time, gonna get a little bit better look, see what happens between Josh Fox and the rear bumper, the 95 Devin Smith. Gonna slow it down now. Devin, he... if you're the 22, you're kind of expecting him to run that bottom line, but looks like Devin slips up the track just a little bit, cuts back down, gets closer towards the apron, drifts up the track just a little bit again, and then Max unfortunately contact with the back bumper. Then here comes the incident. Hang on, folks. This one's going to be a big one. Everybody involved. 81 getting up and into the catch fence. Hopefully he and his wrists are okay. What a move by Josh Fox. That was... wow. You see some wild things commentating for I've been 3 or 4 months now. You even see some wild things in some fixed races, but just one more time as we approach the white flag. Gonna ride on board with Josh Fox, see what he saw on this white flag lap. To the checkered flag, Josh comes. Congratulations again, man, on that win. Very, very nice run. I'm gonna see if I can maybe get Josh up in the booth with us. Hang with us here for just a sec. So no, I'm the only one up in the broadcast booth at the moment, so I will give our drivers a congratulatory salute one more time. And congratulations to Josh Fox, P1, Vincent Cortez, P2, Really nice run. Stayed that top 3 through the whole race. Max Service going to finish out P3. Joshua Reese, P4. Andrew St. Courier, P5. Doug Solms going to take P6. Devin, unfortunate run down the back, and take P7. Adam Gardner, P8. Matt Rogers, P9. Kyle Lingerfelt, P10. And then Aiden Goriano, P11. And Matthew Byers rounding out P12. This has been Sean Stam on Stam Studio Network. Be sure to join us this weekend as I bring you some Pass GT3 racing, some NASCAR Cup versus Porsche Cup racing. Shoot me a message or even YouTube comment if you want to get involved in that. And then Sunday night, be Penny Pleasers Cup live from Talladega. $100 going to the race winner then. Join us then. This has been Sean Stam, Stam Studio Network, as well as broadcasting on the OSS YouTube channel. Thanks again for giving us your time, dedication, and attention tonight. Have a great rest of your evening, and until next time, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks again, folks.